Lexx is the strangest science fiction show that ever got made. A living dragonfly spaceship that eats planets, crewed by a coward, an undead assassin, a love slave, and a robot head in love with her feet. But did you know it began as a 3-minute demo reel? Or that the studio behind it went on to make My Little Pony? 15 facts, starting with its bizarre origins. It began as a 3-minute demo reel called The Dark Zone. The entire mad universe of Lexx grew from a tiny seed. Before any episode existed, creator Paul Donovan, a producer at Canada's Salter Street Films, assembled a roughly 3-minute promotional reel titled The Dark Zone, with contributions from his co-writers Lex Gigeroff and Jeffrey Hirschfield. Its purpose was pure pitch, a proof of concept to demonstrate the show's outlandish visual style and secure the international funding a project this bizarre would obviously need. The gamble paid off spectacularly. That short reel of a misfit crew commandeering a living spaceship to escape a tyrannical regime convinced backers across Canada, Germany, and Britain to finance one of the most ambitious independent sci-fi productions ever attempted outside Hollywood. The three creators would go on to co-write every single episode, and fans affectionately nicknamed them the Supreme Beings. A universe with 2 dimensions, planet-devouring bugs, and an undead hero all unspooled from 3 minutes of footage designed to make financiers say yes. 14. The studio that made it also made My Little Pony. Here's a fact that breaks brains. Lexx, a show featuring nudity, decapitations, planet genocide, and a robot head lusting after a woman's feet, was made by Salter Street Films, founded by brothers Michael and Paul Donovan. After a series of corporate buyouts and mergers in the early 2000s, Salter Street was eventually relaunched and evolved through the Halifax Film Company into the children's animation giant DHX Media, now known as Wild Brain. And DHX Media's most famous production, My Little Pony. Friendship is magic. Let that settle. The same corporate lineage responsible for one of the most gleefully depraved, nude, explicit, apocalyptically violent sci-fi shows in television history also gave the world Twilight Sparkle, Rainbow Dash, and the sparkly, wholesome land of Equestria. Michael Donovan served as CEO of DHX until 2018. From planet-eating space bugs to friendship-powered ponies, it's one of the strangest corporate evolutions in entertainment. The studio that grew up from the darkest zone into the brightest. 13. The lead actress dyed her hair with Easter egg dye and wrecked it. Lexx's low-budget scrappiness reached all the way to its cast's hair. German actress Eva Habermann, who played the love slave Zev in the first season, needed the character's distinctive baby blue hair. But, as she later recalled, it simply wasn't possible to buy baby blue hair coloring in 1997. The improvised solution was almost unbelievable. She colored her hair using Easter egg dye. In her own words, it was not at all healthy. The damage was real enough that she switched to a wig for the second season to protect what was left of her hair. It's a perfect emblem of the whole Lexx production ethos. A show swinging for epic, universe-spanning spectacle while its actual resources were so thin, the star was dyeing her hair with the stuff you use to decorate eggs at Easter. This channel keeps finding the same truth. Ambitious genre television is often held together with ingenuity, desperation, and whatever's in the kitchen cupboard. 12. Each of the 4 original movies had a different A-list guest star. Lexx's first season wasn't a series at all. It was 4 separate 2-hour TV movies, and the producers landed a genuine coup. Each film featured a different, notable guest star to anchor it. The lineup is remarkable for an obscure Canadian-German production. Barry Bostwick, Brad from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, led the first. Tim Curry, Rocky Horror's Frankenfurter, brought scenery-chewing menace to the second. Blade Runner's Rutger Hauer starred in the third, and A Clockwork Orange's Malcolm McDowell anchored the fourth. It's an astonishing roster of cult cinema royalty for a fledgling show, and it lent the wild premise instant credibility. 2 Rocky Horror alumni, the replicant from Blade Runner and Alex from A Clockwork Orange. The guest list alone reads like a fever dream of 1970s and 80s genre film. Over its run, Lexx would keep attracting this caliber of talent, drawn, one suspects, by the sheer freedom of a show where absolutely anything was permitted. 11. The cast played it dead straight, and that's the secret Lexx should not work. Its premise is absurd, its content outrageous, its tone teetering constantly on the edge of self-parody. The reason it holds together is a deliberate acting choice. The cast played the material completely straight. There were no knowing winks to the camera, no pauses for an imagined studio audience to laugh at hapless Stanley Tweedle's latest misfortune. The performers committed to their bizarre reality as though it were deadly serious. That commitment is the entire trick. Because the actors never signaled that the show was a joke, audiences were pulled genuinely into the crew's plight, so that when Lexx abruptly turned dark, killing off innocent bystanders in gruesome and unexpected ways, the horror landed with real weight. The comedy is funnier and the tragedy is more devastating precisely because nobody on screen acknowledges how insane it all is. It's the same principle behind the best deadpan surrealism. Play the impossible with a straight face, and the audience will follow you anywhere. 10. The Love Slave was recast, and the show just carried on midway through building its world. Lexx swapped out one of its 4 leads and barely broke stride. Eva Haberman played Zev Bellringer through the first season, but departed after it. And rather than pretend nothing happened, the show leaned into its own reincarnation-obsessed logic. German actress Zenia Seberg took over for seasons 2 through 4, with the character subtly renamed from Zev to Zev and given a new incarnation, folded neatly into the series' fatalistic mythology of death and rebirth. It fit Lexx's whole philosophy uncannily well. This is a show where, thanks to a Season 3 premise involving reincarnation on the worlds of fire and water and later on Earth, almost every actor eventually played multiple roles as characters died and were reborn wearing new faces. 9. The ship is a giant dragonfly that eats entire planets. At the heart of Lexx is one of the great creature designs in television. The Lexx itself, a colossal, organic, dragonfly-shaped living spaceship, grown, not built, by the insect civilization and bioengineered to be the most powerful weapon of destruction in the 2 universes. Its signature ability is apocalyptic. On command, the Lexx can fire a beam that devours an entire planet, reducing worlds to rubble in seconds. It's also sentient, speaking in a slow, childlike, eager-to-please voice, forever asking permission to blow something up. That combination, a planet-killing superweapon with the personality of a needy, innocent pet, is pure Lexx, marrying cosmic horror to deadpan comedy. The crew accidentally steal this ultimate doomsday device in the pilot and spend 4 seasons trying to survive it as much as pilot it. In a genre full of sleek metal starships, Lexx gave us a giant bug that eats planets and just wants to be loved. Few shows ever built a stranger centerpiece. 8. It was one of the very first shows with an internet-born cult. Lexx holds a genuine place in television history. It was one of the first shows to develop a devoted cult following almost entirely through the internet. In an era when the web was young and online fandom was in its infancy, Lexx, never a mainstream ratings hit in North America, built and sustained its audience through early online communities, message boards, and fan sites, rather than through conventional network promotion or water cooler buzz. This made Lexx a quiet pioneer of a phenomenon now completely normal: the internet cult show, kept alive and spread by passionate fans networking online. The series became a lucrative international moneymaker through global sales, a huge hit in Germany, Russia, and Eastern Europe especially, while its English-language cult was forged link by link across the early web. Quick jump between universes. If this deep dive is earning it, hit like and subscribe because we resurrect a strange classic every week. Now, back aboard the Lexx, starting with the season that turned the whole show into a satire of Earth. 7. The final season put the planet-eating ship over modern Earth. Lexx's fourth and final season made its boldest swerve. It brought the giant planet-devouring bug to present-day Earth and turned the entire show into a savage satire of modern human culture. The crew arrives above our world, and the series, described by fans as Earth seen through the lens of Paul Verhoeven and David Cronenberg while tripping on LSD, starts skewering everything in reach. Militia fanatics, pretentious actors, politicians, internet pornography, reality television, and Japanese kaiju films. The setting let Lexx aim its surreal, nihilistic wit directly at the audience's own society, with an American president named Priest, and stories mocking contemporary obsessions. Recurring cast members played new Earthling characters, and English actors were cast as Texans, sometimes not even bothering with the accent. 6. The undead hero can only be revived by a special proto-blood. One of Lexx's most inspired characters is Kai, the last of the Brunningi, a heroic warrior race, resurrected as an undead assassin after 2,000 years of death. Kai is a walking tragedy engine. He feels almost nothing, remembers everything, and functions only while supplied with a rare substance called proto-blood, which periodically runs out, sending him back into lifeless stasis until he can be recharged. Much of the series' tension comes from Kai's dwindling supply and the crew's desperate hunt to keep their strongest member from simply switching off. Played with mesmerizing, deadpan stillness by Michael McManus, Kai became the show's breakout figure and its emotional anchor. A dead man who is, paradoxically, the most human presence aboard a ship of the living. His condition gave the series a built-in ticking clock and a poignant core. A hero who cannot die because he is already dead, protecting people he can barely feel, running always toward the next dose that keeps his borrowed life flickering. 5. It filmed on 4 continents on a shoestring. For a cult show made outside the Hollywood system, Lexx was astonishingly well-traveled. Its production was based primarily at Salter Street's Electropolis Studios in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and at the historic Babelsberg Studios near Berlin, Germany, one of the oldest large-scale film studios in the world. But the series also ranged far beyond its home bases, shooting on location across multiple continents. Parts of Season 3 were filmed in the deserts of Namibia in Africa, while later episodes captured footage in Iceland, Thailand's Bangkok, England, and the American Southwest. That globe-spanning ambition, achieved on a co-production budget, is a large part of why Lexx's 2 universes feel genuinely vast and varied, rather than confined to a few sound stages. 4. Its creator was a physicist-turned-filmmaker. Lexx's uniquely intelligent strangeness makes more sense once you know its creator's background. Paul Donovan, the driving force behind the show, earned a Bachelor of Science in Physics from Dalhousie University before graduating from the London Film School. A scientist and a filmmaker in one mind, precisely the combination you'd want for a series juggling 2 universe cosmology, planet-scale physics, and dense philosophical themes of fatalism, reincarnation, and hedonism beneath its lurid surface. Donovan co-founded Salter Street Films with his brother Michael back in 1983. And while Michael ran the business side, Paul chased the creative vision, eventually earning an honorary doctorate of law from Dalhousie in 2009. His fingerprints explain why Lexx, for all its gleeful trash, keeps gesturing at big ideas. The heat death of the universe, the nature of the soul, free will versus destiny. 3. Season 2 is about the universe turning into robot arms. Lexx's 2nd season contains one of the most gloriously demented story arcs in science fiction television. The season-long villain is Mantrid, an evil, disembodied scientist, played by German actor Dieter Laser, whose insane goal is to kill every living thing in the universe. His method is unforgettable. Mantrid builds self-replicating robot drones, each with a single arm, and sets about converting the entire mass of the universe, atom by atom, into one-armed Mantrid drones. It's a premise of pure, escalating cosmic lunacy. An antagonist trying to literally transform all of existence into copies of his own robotic limbs, threatening to unbalance the universe itself. The arc builds to genuinely apocalyptic, physics-bending stakes, exactly the kind of idea a physicist-creator would relish. Where most shows give you a villain who wants to conquer a planet, Lexx gave you one who wants to turn reality into an infinite swarm of identical arms. It remains one of the boldest, weirdest, sustained storylines the genre has ever attempted. 2. It saved its own studio from collapse. Lexx wasn't just a cult curiosity, it was a financial lifeline. Salter Street Films had struggled through lean years, and by multiple accounts, it was Lexx that became the company's salvation. A genuine hit in Germany, Russia, and Eastern Europe that turned into a lucrative moneymaker through international sales. The strange little show about a planet-eating bug quite literally kept the lights on at the studio that made it. The consequences ripple through Canadian media history. A financially stabilized Salter Street went on to produce the acclaimed satirical news series This Hour Has 22 Minutes, was absorbed by Alliance Atlantis, of Due South and CSY fame, and its DNA ultimately flowed into the animation empire that became Wild Brain, the strangest sci-fi show ever made, and it never once compromised Step Back. And Lexx's real achievement is its absolute refusal to be anything other than itself. Across 61 episodes and 4 seasons, it remained gleefully, defiantly uncommercial. Too nude, too violent, too dark, too weird for any conventional network, and utterly uninterested in fixing that. It killed protagonists, blew up worlds, embraced downer endings, satirized its own audience, and followed its bizarre internal logic wherever it led. Almost no show in television history has been this strange for this long on purpose. That purity is exactly why it endures. Lexx has been called one of the most underrated sci-fi series ever made, a show equal parts Farscape, Star Wars, and Red Dwarf that dared to be genuinely transgressive on a shoestring budget from Halifax and Berlin. Those were 15 facts most fans have never heard about Lexx. Which one got you, the Easter egg hair dye, or the studio that grew up to make My Little Pony? Confess it in the comments. If this earned it, hit like, subscribe, and send it to the friend who thinks they've seen every weird sci-fi show they haven't seen this one. Until next time, the time has come to click subscribe.